Hey guys, it's Andy from CCG.
Hey guys, it's Breeze from CCG.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, this is Mason if you haven't met him yet.
My name is Matt, and welcome back to Controlled Chaos Gaming.
Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome back to Controlled Chaos Gaming. My name is Andy, and today we're going to go over two of the best Paldea Evolved decks. One of them is going to be Giratina V-Star, and the other one Gardevoir EX. This is the Gardevoir EX deck that ended up winning the League Cup this previous Saturday. Of course, I did end up winning it, but shout out to our newest member, Adrian, for the list. If you want the list, it is available in our Discord channel. You can go check out our Discord in the link below. Alright, so getting into the video here, it looks like I am starting out with a Greninja and a Manaphy. Not a great setup. And of course, no guaranteed Ralts in hand, which is really sketchy if you're the Gardevoir player. Oh, but Breeze starting out with a Lumineon is not great either. And it looks like we have the Artisan though. Breeze, of course, flexing for the camera. Looks like we do have the Artisan to go grab ourselves one Ralts, so we are going to get at least one Ralts established for an evolution potentially the following turn. But I think that is just going to be it for this turn. Quite an underwhelming turn for Gardevoir. Of course, we usually see very good setups from Gardevoir. Looks like going on to Breeze's side, he does have both the Artisan, looks like a Heavy Ball in hand, and a Battle VIP Pass, so has multiple options to go find Pokemon, but does of course want to check the deck, make sure everything's in there, and make sure that he has the capabilities to go find some Pokemon with that Heavy Ball. So gonna go ahead, bench that Comfey off of the Artisan and use the Heavy Ball. Looks like both a Giratina and a Cramorant prize, but of course correctly choosing the Cramorant, as Cramorant is great in the early game, hopefully wanting to get an attack off this turn. It's going to be a Battle VIP Pass as well. Likely going to grab a Comfey and potentially a Greninja, although with that Manaphy down, it looks like Breeze is going to opt for a Giratina. Of course, with the Manaphy this early, Greninja isn't that great of an option, but of course does have the capabilities to use its ability, Concealed Cards, to draw you more cards in the deck. Breeze, though, kind of worried in this matchup with the Giratinas, does have to bench them quite early to get them evolved up so that he can use it for a further turn. Oh, looks like he's going to get rid of a V-Star, only has 2 in deck, and yep, gonna get rid of that Lost Vacuum as well. So keeping a bunch of switch cards in his hand, very nice to accelerate into the Lost Zone and get an attack with that Cramorant this turn. So it looks like it's gonna be a Flower selecting here. Getting rid of a Jet Energy, of course, does have 1 in hand and has Path of the Peak in hand as well. It's gonna use that Jet Energy as both a attachment for a switch and has it for a retreat later on. Looks like he might be opting for a switch this turn so that he could save the retreat for a different turn, and then that's gonna be what he does. He's gonna play the Path to the Peak though, very interesting, and gonna hit for 110 here. So of course Battle VIP Pass, the next card. Oh, but we have Rare Candy, Gardevoir in hand, and an Iono, so very good turn 2 here, starting out for myself. And we're really looking for another couple Ralts this turn, as well as an attachment for turn. Oh, wow! Multiple Pokemon, though. That is basically Battle VIP Pass, but this time it is going to grab us 2 Ralts. This is going to be a fantastic setup now. Of course, it is 1 turn a little late, but I think it's okay because Breeze didn't end up taking a KO on his first turn. So he might be behind later on, having to clean up a KO on this Greninja, instead of just taking a knockout on something like the Ralt or Manaphy if he had an escape rope. Oh, can't do the concealed cards here. Breeze, great reminder here. Put those 2 cards back, and I think it's just going to be an attachment for turn and a pass. Breeze has that really early rope this time, and I'm kind of forced to send up this Manaphy because I have both Ralts down. But if I can get them evolved in the following turn, I don't think it'll be too hard for a Greninja KO to just take 1 knockdown instead of 2. Is going to commit the Psychic Energy to Giratina and use Iono, which is going to both reset us to 6 cards, and of course he's going to take a knockout and have 7 cards in hand after that. Is actually going to opt to retreat into the Comfey and use 1 more flower selecting. Get to 5 cards in the Lost Zone. So, oh, actually 6 cards in the Lost Zone, so is 1 away. And we'll see if he can get to that 7th card in the Lost Zone this turn. Of course, the ability to use Mirage Gate is always great for these matchups where you need to do a lot of damage very fast. It's going to opt for another Cramorant, or another Comfey, so we'll see if he uses Flower Selecting 1 more time to get to that 7th number. Actually is just going to go ahead and switch card into the Cramorant and take that knockout. Going down to 5 prizes remaining, and it is back to my turn. So here it looks like we've got, oh, double Fog Crystal and a Level Ball. Just everything all at once. So it's going to be 2 Psychic Energy and a Kirlia if I was to bet. And that is going to be really good as we can evolve here. Oh wow, it goes in with an Ultra Ball as well. Going to find 1 more Kirlia. And really important that we don't evolve the Kirlia this turn, of course, as I do that. Yep, I do take that back. If we do end up refining or Shining Arcana into a rare candy, it is very easy for us to evolve into the Gardevoir that we have in hand instead of the Kirlia, which allows us to, of course, attack this turn if we get a Collapsed Stadium. So it looks like it's going to be Refinement, discarding the Psychic Energy, drawing 2 cards. And a Shining Arcana should be next. Oh, do find that rare candy, so exactly what I talked about. If I had evolved into Kirlia, I could not make this play this turn, but we are going to rare candy into the Gardevoir. So we did attach for turn to the active, which means we can use Brainwave for 150 damage, and that is going to take a knockout on this Cramorant. We're just curious now what we want to do. Of course, we have not used a supporter yet, so we have the ability to go grab that Manaphy with the Super Rod, and I think we're just going to research and try and draw back into it. And let's see if we can draw into that Manaphy once again. Oh, yep, we draw into the Manaphy, which is perfect. So we can rebench that Pokemon right there, and that's going to prevent any Greninja attacks further in this matchup. And it looks like we have a Reversal Energy for a future turn as well. So we're going to take a knockout on this Cramorant, and it's going to go back over to Breeze's side. And I think this turn he's really wanting to get a KO on that Gardevoir EX if possible. Gonna Ultra Ball here. Search his deck for the V-Star, of course. Is gonna V-Star, there is no reason not to, as it gives up only 2 prize cards and it has more HP. 60 more HP to be factual. Is gonna go in with the Flower Selecting first though, and it's gonna be Colress, of course, getting that supporter for turn. Looks like Breeze is debating what to do as the escape rope here, so I think it's a pretty easy choice for us to go into the Greninja here, as it gives up very little and it only has 20 HP, which means if he wants to not use the Sableye, he'll have to overkill this Greninja. Is going to get rid of a boss there. Of course, his list only plays 2, so that is going to be interesting going forward. Going to be the Colress here. Does get rid of a Water Energy. Of course, the Greninja not super useful anymore. and the Ultra Ball as he already has the Giratina V-Star in hand. Is going to evolve there and attach to the Sableye, and it looks like the Sableye is the attack this turn. Going to take a knockout on the Greninja, but we'll see what else he takes a knockout on. Setting up with the Mirage Gate, this is of course a really good play by Breeze here, because if he is to fall victim to an Iono, he doesn't have to worry about those Mirage Gates not being used up. He has the ability to use the Mirage Gates early so that he can attack with that Giratina in a later turn and does not have to worry about powering it up the same turn he attacks. So really good idea if you're playing Lost Box is to use some of those resources early if you can and if it's safe to do so that Iono doesn't get rid of those resources for you. It looks like it's going to be a knockout on the Greninja and actually putting 10 damage on this Gardevoir, which is really good for him because of the fact that I cannot accelerate to it very many energy, thus not being able to knock out his Giratina V-Star. So I draw for turn here, and this turn I think we're going to go for some sort of reversal play if we can find it, as we do use our Shining Arcana into nothing there. And we do have the Shining Arcana Gardevoir in hand, so we might be able to evolve after we use the Refinement. Now, Refinement in this scenario is definitely going to get rid of a Professor's Research, because all of the cards in my hand are very good, and I don't really want to get rid of any of them. So I'm going to draw 2 more cards. It's going to be a Rare Candy and an Ultra Ball, none of which we need right now. I'm going to evolve straight away and use Shining Arcana. And with 5 energy and a reversal, I actually get a knockout with 300 damage on a Giratina V-Star. So if there's a boss in hand, we'll probably end up going for this play. Looks like an Ultra Ball though, gonna get rid of the Mew and an Iono. This deck of course does play 4 of them, so it's fairly easy to find it. And we're gonna grab out the Cresselia. Very good attacker in this matchup. Of course, Sableye, if it spreads its damage too thin, Cresselia can just take that damage and put it right back at the opponent. Oh, and it looks like it is going to be a boss's orders this turn. Bringing up that Giratina V-Star, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. Has to replace the Path of the Peak, so Breeze does get to bump his Lumineon. But we are going to retreat, put those 2 energy into the discard pile for the Gardevoir. And we have the reversal energy from our hand, as well as a Ultra Ball to get rid of that 5th energy. And that is going to be a knockout. So it's just going to be taking 2 more prizes from you here. Grabbing that Zacian for potential turns later in the game, of course. But this is going to be really key for taking a knockout here onto this Giratina V-Star, because then the Gardevoir EX is pretty safe for the remainder of this game unless Breeze decides to set up another Giratina V-Star. So now we are in a precarious situation here as Breeze sends up his Sableye. He can actually take 2 knockouts this turn on both Gardevoir and leave me with little to nothing in play, especially if he can find a Stadium Bump and leave me with just my worker as an out. Looks like Breeze is really deciding what he wants to do here and is actually going to go in with a double Mirage Gate. So this again is going to be setting up for future turns. He is going to set up the Greninja here for a potential KO later on in this game. And it looks like Breeze is going to bump the Stadium here. Of course, knowing that I only play 2 Stadiums in the deck, he is able to bump and now has Path to the Peak in play for the foreseeable future unless I get Worker in my hand. Which it looks like I already have in hand, which is kind of crazy. And it is looking like he is going to knock out both of these Gardevoir here and leave me with little to nothing in play. But Of course, we do know that I do have the worker in hand, so I'm going to be able to discard the stadium and attack with my Gardevoir EX. So, looks like I am debating benching this Zacian. I think I do end up picking it up because that is a lose condition later on in the game, as I do need 3 prize cards still. So I am going to attach return. Looks like the worker is the choice, so getting rid of that second Path to the Peak, the last Path to the Peak in Breeze's deck. And I'm going to retreat into that Gardevoir, and this is actually going to be something you'll see in the future of Pokemon. The Iono is not only a disruption factor, but also a scare tactic. As Breeze thinned so much for the Iono that now he is actually stuck with a dead hand. He cannot do anything next turn because he was so focused on the fact that I could Iono him that he has nothing in hand anymore. All he has is boss's orders, but no backup anything, and is going to have to boss just to take a KO on the Manaphy, which of course we know cannot knock out 2 Pokemon at once, which is crazy to think about. The fact that that little play is going to prevent him from potentially winning this game. So it looks like it is going to be the boss's orders on that Manaphy here. That is the only Pokemon he can knock out right now, and he does take a knockout on it, and I'm just going to re-promote that Gardevoir, and this is going to be a perfect Iono to 1 here, as we attach to our Zacian. Oh, we forget to put our Psychic Embrace damage, of course, and we're just going to Iono to 1 card, and going to Super Odd the Manaphy back, of course, and an Energy, so this is really important, putting back an Energy card so that we do not have a Pokemon get stranded. Of course, if my opponent does strand one of my Pokemon, I have 1 energy in deck that I can retreat, and if they try and strand something else, like Zacian, I can always retreat it with another energy later on from Psychic Embrace. So Iono to 1 and 2 respectively. This is basically the end-all be-all, and it looks like we just have to Miracle Force, and next turn if Breeze doesn't win the game, he will lose. So his only out at this point is to get established a Giratina V and potentially evolve into a V-Star the following turn with Clara. But if he Claras, of course, he has to find a switch card in hand, so he needs quite a few things here. He's debating what to have, and it looks like he actually has an Iono. That is not going to help him here. Does get rid of a Hawlucha, of course, and it looks like the other card is the Clara, which is very nice for him. That is going to be what he needs to get established his Pokemon, but he cannot, of course, retreat and get established this Giratina V-Star for a future turn, as all 4 Mirage Gates have been used. This is really devastating. It looks like Breeze is just facing the writing on the walls. There's not really much he can do, staring down the face of this Gardevoir. It has so much HP, and it's hitting for 190, which KOs basically everything in the deck at this point, except for Giratina. But it looks like he is going to try, of course, getting that Sableye back and the Greninja and a couple energies. Can go dig further into the deck, see what he can find. Just needs a switch card at this point. And do we see it? Doesn't look like it. I'm gonna attach to the Sableye, and I think this is him realizing now that he doesn't have any switch cards in deck. There is only 2 Switch, 2 Rope, and 2 Switch card in this deck, and I believe all 6 of those have been used. Yep, and it's just nothing left in deck. So that is going to be the game, going over to Gardevoir. Really close game from both sides there. That is, of course, Gardevoir EX winning. This deck also, again, won the League Cup. I did end up winning the League Cup with it. Our new member of Controlled Chaos Gaming, Adrian, gave me the list, so shout out to Adrian. And if you guys enjoyed this episode and want to see some more of this, please make sure to leave a like and follow us or subscribe to us on YouTube. And if you haven't already, you should go check us out. We are live on Twitch on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. And we have our Discord where you can find all of the deck lists that are played in these videos. So thank you so much for tuning in once again. My name is Andy, and we'll see you guys next time.